Hello, hello. Welcome in. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. Become a diehard. And boy, oh boy, is it a great day to become a diehard at GoPHNX.com. We're going to get to that in a second. First, I'm Johnny Venerable, co-host Bo Brack, Damon, Dawg, producer extraordinaire behind the mic. What a day as we preview the NFL schedule release. We'll talk a little bit about ticket sales and have a little bit of a mini announcement here at the top of the show, Bo Brack.
That's right. Cannot wait to unveil the big new, I guess, a couple items that we got. The PHNX locker, the merchandise locker. Can't wait. Emily, what's up? Gatorade Man, diehard Gary, everybody, welcome to the chat. Excited for you to join. Learned about a couple of the Cardinals rookies as well. Isaiah Adams, got Jaden Davis, 7th round pick. His ties to Pat Tillman. And Xavier Thomas, the loan addition this offseason to the pass rush group. Johnny, we'll get into that as well. So excited about it, but right out of the jump here, we got some big news.
Let's kick things off. We teased it on, what was that, Friday's show, yesterday's show. We feel like we have the best new merchandise in the history of the PHNX merchandise locker, which is normally on point. But how about this? The number 18 collection has hit the merchandise locker. The Maserati T, let's just call it the celebratory touchdown dance 2.0. Bo and Damon will have to clean me up as to what it's actually called. And then how about 1 + 18 = 6 coming this fall to State Farm Stadium. This is live and in living color for sale right now via the PHNX merchandise locker. You can pay for it. We'd love that. Or you can get it for free. One for free by becoming a diehard at GoPHNX.com. It is your choosing, but choose wisely. Choose the 18 collection, Bo.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with this. And if you're live with us, you're seeing the T-shirts on the screen, and it's more than likely going to make you emotional, and probably a tear will come to your eye, and you'll say, this is just gorgeous. It's the most beautiful thing that these eyes have seen. I'll clean you up. There's the MHJT. You can find that at the PHNX locker. You can find
what that stands for.
Just simple math cards T. The 1 + 18 = 6. No, the math is correct. All you nerds out there, it's 1 + 18 = 6 in these parts. And then you got the Maserati Marv T. All of them go an unbelievably extremely hard as you can possibly go. All three of these T-shirts. Get the 18 collection now. You go to the phnxlocker.com, and it's right there, smack dab on the front page. It's glorious. It's well worth the wait. And here we are.
Again, and I'm not just saying this because we say it every show. You get a free T-shirt of your choosing. One of these three. You want the MHJ, you want the Maserati, you want the Math T. Any of them that you want for free, one of your choosing, you become a diehard at GoPHNX.com. It pays for itself. We will put a link in the description. There it is. You get a membership card. You get a free shirt. You get access to 100% of the written content on the website. You get entrance to the Discord lounge, PHNX Cardinals, which is consistently popping off. Plus, you get discounts on all future PHNX Cardinals, whatever you want events. So if you just want to say, hey, I just want to cut off a little scratch next year ahead of the next draft party, you do you. But it's on every event. It's not a one-off. So I'm telling you right now, if you're thinking about making a purchase, do it and become a diehard. Get your shirt for free. And then you can just go buy the other two if you want to do that.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with this. It's a great way to launch a new era of Arizona Cardinals football by celebrating, just what's coming to the gridiron this fall. It's gonna be awesome. I mean,
can we just leave this up for the entire show? It doesn't even matter that my head's covered up. But
you can
look at that right there.
You should stick your neck out of the side of the shirt, Johnny, like you're wearing it the whole time.
Oh, I got one of the new T-shirts already. It just got to my house. Sorry, that's lame.
The giant head Johnny. There we go. On the Johnny program. Is there a better T-shirt in the merchandise locker? Maybe an ALLCITY network than the MHJ shirt? No, there's not. It's a simple no, there's not.
I hope people know that, like, I love all. I'm buying all three. I'm getting all three, maybe in multiples for family. The MHJ shirt, which Bowen and I may or may not have had in putting together. We were like, hey, could we do something like this? Can it look like this? And then our peeps at ALLCITY do a tremendous job. Made some art, and that's what the art looks like. So yeah, I think the MHJ shirt Like, I don't want to come out and say like shirts are going to sell out because they're pre-orders right now. I saw they're shipping like the first week of June. So there should be plenty of time to print and restock and print and restock. That I have not seen, and I'm being 100% sincere, because the goal was initially, could we have something like that ready draft night? But then we thought to ourselves, well, we may not know a lot of specifics to be able to put the t-shirt together, right? And so we're like, okay, let's holster it. And so we've had all this time for other people to do an MHJ kind of shirt. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything as close to as good as what, candidly speaking, we got going at the merchandise locker. So
full transparency, like the Maserati shirt, the math shirt were shown to us and we were giddy. And then we thought to ourselves, Johnny, the brain trust that you and I are, and we said, can we go just a bit harder?
Mm-hmm.
And then they decided to hit the next gear and took it to levels we didn't even know we could reach.
Can we go from 10 and can we carry it to 11 is basically what we said. In this instance, can it go from 10 to 18?
Can we break the knob off and then still continue to go and trend upwards? And we did.
We're fired up. Go get your t-shirts now. We're going to be repping them this fall at games, outings, events, anything PHNX, Gila River. We're going to be doing it all. Do it with this gear, this merch. A lot of people have been asking me, Johnny, this touchdown shirt, it's sold out. We've told our people if we can potentially do a restock, but regardless, if you've waited for whatever reason, you do you. Today is your Christmas morning because they're ready to go right now. Fishbowl Flash saying, placing my order now. LFG. Heck yes. Heck yes. And here's what we want. You guys become a diehard. Take a picture of your diehard membership when it comes in the mail. Retweets, falls from Bo, Damon, and I, the whole team. Take a picture of your shirts. We want to see the orders. We want to push that out there because we want to grow this community, and we can't do it without all of you guys.
Yeah. I saw these t-shirts. I walked in today. I actually had something on this shirt and I ripped it off. I said, this is embarrassing. This doesn't live up to what we have. So I'm just wearing a blank tee here. Who suggested we need the Bo Zach Wilson mirror shirt? I mean, if I'm going to be on the hook for unsold shirts, then I'd say no.
You have to actually, you're like a lot of these players when they buy other shirts, you have to buy them out when they don't sell. And that might cost you a good amount.
In my house. Cardi D said, done. Absolutely got that. Probably put the order in already. I'm getting my order in. I'm getting one for me, my wife, my kid. Cannot wait.
Well, yeah, like there's a certain jersey that's not available yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, maybe you just you just pivot to the merchandise locker, get you just like an appetizer until you can get a certain jersey. Might not be a bad strategy here. Anything with regarding Marvin Harrison Jr. is a sound strategy. And if you want to ask us, or maybe not us, but maybe the Arizona Cardinals, they'll tell you the same. We woke up to this little nugget today. This is from Mark Dalton. What's his official title with the Cardinals?
Head of Media Relations.
Head of Media Relations. Does a phenomenal job.
President of Media Relations. I apologize.
Yeah,
Mark doesn't watch the show, but
no, but he's terrific. We'd love for Mark to be a friend of the program, but right now we will toot the horn of the Redbirds. Cardinals season tickets sold out in the lower level at State Farm Stadium. Earliest point since when? 2009. What happened in 2009? Oh, they just won the NFC Championship coming off their Super Bowl appearance. The team ranks third in NFL in season ticket sales this offseason. Limited number remain in club and terrace levels. Ready to pack them in at State Farm Stadium. That's almost as good as the MHJ pick because I can't stand opposing fans in the stands at State Farm Stadium. So you see this, Bo. I have my take on maybe why this is. Give me your opinion as to what has changed in your opinion.
Well, I mean, obviously great leadership, right? And a culture change will inspire people to show up. It's part of the kind of Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. And I think Monty Ossenfort and Jonathan Gannon have done it in their short time, an unbelievable job in rebuilding the culture. I mean, it was devoid of culture. I mean, this was a place that was rudderless under the leadership or lack thereof from the general manager, Steve Keim and Cliff Kingsbury. And now you've got people with a plan, a process in place, an idea of how to build a strong, consistent winner. And it didn't take long for people to buy what Monty and JG were selling. And then you see the infusion of talent. You see kind of the reemergence a resurgence of your franchise quarterback by the team emboldening Kyler Murray. And then now you couple him with the playmaker, the best playmaker that this humble franchise has seen since Larry Fitzgerald and Marvin Harrison Jr. And man, you're cooking with grease, my friend, as far as people and the excitement in the area for their local football team.
Love this from Jared. Been saving my free diehard merch for this. Give me the math.
Brilliant.
Team. Heck yes.
That's big
love
brain
it.
stuff.
We
Jared.
told everybody yesterday. I said, save it. Save it. Speaking of save, Marvin Harrison Jr. has saved the Arizona Cardinals from a media relations standpoint before they have begun to win. Usually an influx, because I agree with you. I think it is culture. I think it's roster construction. I think it's good vibes. I think it's JG, K1, all of that. I think that's the icing, though. I think the cake is Marvin Harrison Jr. I really do believe he's had that big of an impact on this fan base in the Valley, ready to, frankly, give a shit again and pay big money, because this is big money now. This is not, I love going on Game Time and saving money, Bo, on an NFL Sunday, but it's like these are people putting down their hard-earned money now to pay a premium now for premium seats now to watch Marvin Harrison Jr. Like you cannot convince me otherwise. This is, for the most part, they didn't go and trade for D-Hop again. They didn't sign a bunch of flashy free agents. There's hope and optimism, but he is infinitely more impactful by brand recognition, marketing, namesake than anybody else they brought in this offseason. Like, I think they got better in free agency, certainly better in the draft, a lot of meat and potatoes additions, right? Defensive tackles, some supplemental quarterbacks, a fourth wide receiver. Like, they got a bunch of players that are ascending. You could have gone and watched Trey McBride last year. You could have gone and watched Kyler Murray last year. Greg Dortch, right? Michael Wilson. We're excited about these players. Marvin Harrison Jr. is box office. Fans know that. Casuals know that. People who hardly pay attention to football know that. And I say casuals like in the best way. It's like, oh, Cardinals got Marvin. Yeah, I'd like to go watch him every Sunday. It was the Larry Fitzgerald effect, and now it's the Marv effect. This is 75% who they drafted fourth overall. And that's why we were banging the table during draft season. Mm-hmm. You could build the long way. You could trade down. You could get a Dallas Turner at 13 and Brian Thomas Jr. And who knows, might end up being better long-term. But for relevance, which the schedule is going to tell us tomorrow, for impact within the Valley and the culture of the Valley sports in general, nobody this offseason, free agent, draft pick alike, does more for the Cardinals than this player. No one.
Right. No, it's truly ushered in a new era of Cardinals football, one that this Valley was depraved of and desperate for. And it felt like it was the idea of resetting one more time and having to endure a rebuild again was daunting. Right. And here we are just a little over a year later. And man, things couldn't be trending in a better direction for this football franchise. I mean, you have to look back to coming off the 2013 season, the first year of BA, and you still had, like, at that point, like, yeah, you had Fitz rediscovering himself in the slot, over the age of 30. You had Carson Palmer, who was well into, like, late in his career. You knew that the shelf life wasn't that long. Here, it's you got a 26-year-old quarterback. You've got a rookie wide receiver. You've got a foundation that is littered with just young, budding stars. And I think that's the difference here between 10 years ago. And it's a great feeling to have. And this is a knowledgeable fan base. This is a knowledgeable fan base. And, like, you can make your jokes. And I even made one myself saying, like, oh, great, people are buying now to sell them to opposing teams' fans in the fall. But I think that is going to turn as well. And it's going to take, you got to take on some responsibility yourself as a fan, that if you're purchasing these season tickets, that you're going to either go to the game yourself, or you're going to sell them to Cardinals fans. And there's going to be willing Cardinals fans to gobble up those tickets, to buy them on the secondary market. And it's time to stop letting in opposing fans. It's well past that time, right? Yeah. It's time that the Cardinal, when you go to a Cardinals game, you're overwhelmed by the Red Sea. And, people who live here are transplants. You and I are both proud transplants that are embracing this community, this culture. And we want to be part of what's going on with the local sports team, because there's nothing that really beats that camaraderie.
No.
And it's time to give up your dad and your grandfather's teams. All right. It's a little bit sad at this point. It's like,
Well,
just the sad, desperate ways that people hold on to those teams, and you're sitting there at a party and they're telling you, well, I'm a New England Patriots fan because my grandfather spent summer in Massachusetts. It's just like, come on, dude. Like, also your grandpa listened to Elvis. Are you listening to the King these days? Are you listening to Buffalo Springfield? Like, give up that. You don't listen to his crappy music. Why are you listening to or rooting for his favorite sports team? Like, give that up. Create something for your own and be a part of the community here. Because I'm telling you, as much fun as it is to root for a team by yourself at the bar because you cherry picked them because they were good and they were trending in the right direction at that time, it means something to get in on the ground level and support something and be along while it's being built. And this is the time right now. This is the opportunity.
Well, it's a special set of circumstances where this is not enabled without Monty Ossenford. Like, we've talked about it ad nauseum. Bidwell goes out. He hires an external GM. That GM says, I'm going to go get a new head coach. I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to get a defensive guy, but I'm going to get a culture builder. Like, this is Gannon and JG's baby right now. And again, people don't like when I say this. Like, Bidwell deserves credit. He does. He enabled both these guys. I was messaging with somebody yesterday. This is Ossenford's show. This is Gannon's show. The football people are in charge of the football product again. And guess what? People are excited about watching football at State Farm Stadium this year. And they should be. Like, I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think the over-under for them with our friends at BetMGM is a little bit disrespectful. And I love BetMGM. But I think the Sharks are wrong on this one. I mean, could you imagine with this team this year and the mojo and the good vibes and the youth that they have, if they make the playoffs, they get to 9 or 10 wins, they exceed expectations. I mean, we think the buzz around this team is hot now. Wait until next fall. I mean, the Cardinals have every opportunity with a fourth place schedule. They've got one of the easiest strength of schedules in all of football this year. I just saw another breakdown today. It is in their wheelhouse. If they play somehow 500 football in the NFC West, they are going to the postseason. They will have the quarterback advantage. I would say 60 to 70% of every game they play. Sign me up for that. And at the end of the day, I said this, what was it, probably 2 weeks ago after the Suns got bounced from the postseason. Kyler Murray is going to become, again, the face of Valley sports. I think he had it for a little bit. And then Devin Booker, obviously what he did with the Suns is commendable. And I'm not knocking Devin Booker. I think we're going to look at the end of this year and the season that Kyler Murray is about to have and said, man, Kyler Murray's been here this whole time. This has been here this whole time. Mm-hmm. And guess what? We've got a coaching staff, a front office that embraces him, empowers him. Everything he's done this offseason has been to ingratiate himself within the Valley, within his teammates. Like, I think Kyler Murray is going to not only Mina Kimes said he's going to own this team, he's going to own Phoenix sports come next January. That's my prediction.
Yeah, he certainly has the opportunity, as Mina outlined, right? And in any market, it's tough to beat a star franchise quarterback. Even though Valley sports was kind of grown by the Godfather Jerry Colangelo and the rise of the Phoenix Suns, and it's been a basketball town, hoops town outside of the run to the Super Bowl. It kind of came out of nowhere, and obviously a World Series championship that was again, Colangelo at the lead in the ownership group for the Diamondbacks. But you look across the sports landscape, like football is king, and when you're playing the most important position in sports, and the team gets hot, there's a lot of good things that come with it. And you just got to credit the new regime in as far as embracing Kyler and realizing and understanding that, the skill set that we all saw, a guy that was drafted in the top 10 in 2 professional sports, it's still there. And, he wasn't really sure. The team gave him a couple playmakers and DeAndre Hopkins and some flashy, high draft picks. But at the same time, when you kind of peel back that onion and you see, it's like, okay, well, one of those high draft picks was from UMass, and the other guy was a 5'7" wide receiver who was never healthy out of Purdue. Mm-hmm. And it's just, when you really look at it, it's like, was he really set up for success? He never had, last year was the best offensive line he was playing quarterback from. And as far as the offensive play calling, I don't think Kyler's played within an offense like he did last year that set him up for success and created that conflict, that run pass conflict. So the infrastructure is finally there, and the skill set has always been a belief from Gannon and Ossenford and Petzing that Kyler is the guy for the job to take them where they want to go.
Let's get to some of these super chats. Loving the vibes. Drop a like on this video. Lauren Downey, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Lauren. Excited for the schedule so I can get to planning my 2-week trip from the UK to the US to see our Cardinals bang some wins this season. Sounds fantastic. Lauren, you'll have to let us know when you come to town what games you plan on going to, my friend. We'll let you know where the boys of PHNX Cardinals. If you want to do some hanging, throw back a couple of brewskis are going to be on football Sundays. But, I mean, is there a home game in particular, Bo, you've got circled on the calendar this year?
I think that the Chicago Bears is an intriguing matchup, right? Once you start to kind of get out of the divisional matchups, you start to look at like the Bears, Caleb Williams, his array of of weapons, and kind of how the Bears were super cocky. They had really no reason to be on Christmas Eve with their win over the Cardinals, who had no talent on the defensive line, and Justin Fields talking trash. It's like, I think that's going to be a really fun game to watch.
Jake, this is very humbling, Jake. $4.99, loving the season ticket news. Got to think part of the excitement is because of you guys. You guys have made being a Cards fan fun again. Thank you so much, Jake. I'm not sure how true that is, but we'll take your word for it.
Yeah,
we have really a lot of fun.
No, I mean, it's people, Jake, it's like yourself and everybody that's in this chat every day, people on social media, that this is truly a team and organization now that you're proud to celebrate, right? I mean, we all love the name on the jersey and you know, some of the great moments, and we all know what it means to be a fan, but to kind of get in now and see the trajectory of this organization, like, I think everybody's having a ball right now. This is a fun part of the rebuild. Like, after getting through the tough times, right? It's not for the faint of heart, and you had to endure some real thin times, like the game in Cleveland. That was probably when they bottomed out, Johnny, right? Am I right by saying
that? I mean,
that?
but we knew what was on the horizon.
But then it was just all like that, right? You take the lump, the final blow, the knockout blow to the old regime, and then you move forward with Kyler Murray coming back, and the team, it's better ball from here on out.
Is it poetic that we're doing this on a Tuesday, Bo? Because it used to be dubbed Tank Tuesday on this show about 12 months ago, 8 months ago. And look how far we've come. We're not taking shit anymore. This team, we're going to the playoffs, baby.
I sent Johnny a screen cap. I logged on the YouTube the other day, and there was just an old show, and there was Johnny and I, Sailor Boy Johnny. He was wearing his red and white tank, and I had my sleeveless like my the tank that I had to make myself that day because I
Your
forgot
arts and crafts project.
Yeah, my arts and craft tank.
So bad.
That MGM. We were looking swole those days. Our arm days were a lot more epic back then.
Yeah, I'm a weak baby now. Aris, $4.99 super chat. Any chance you'll come to LA and do a live show when the Cards come to play? It's lonely out here. Aris, we'd love to come to LA. I was at the playoff game for PHNX Sports 2 years ago. This show is a little bit different back then. Didn't have my phenomenal co-host and my producer with me. We would love to come back to LA. And we're working behind the scenes with our leadership, GM Saul Bookman, to see what road trips we can take this year. So it's definitely on our radar. And that's an easy trip, all things considered. It's one of the easiest ones. So, I mean, yeah, hopefully maybe they're playing for a division title late in the year and the Rams are on the schedule. We would find a way to be there for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Trip to LA, SoFi, you know, those bastards. It's a great venue.
It's the best. Can I just say it's the best stadium I've ever been to? Like, objectively speaking, it's the nicest pro stadium.
I've been to a few of the like newer NFL stadiums recently, not to watch football games, but I went to the Raiders stadium and I went to the Falcons stadium, and those were really, really nice stadiums. I'd love to get out to SoFi.
Are you talking about when we all went to Allegiant Stadium together?
I mean, no, I went to see a preseason soccer match.
All right.
I saw a sporting event there, Bo.
Right.
When were we at the Raiders stadium together?
Maybe, I mean, we were there for Super Bowl night.
Gotcha.
You weren't there yet,
You
Johnny.
don't remember
no big
when
deal.
Damon was hanging out with Mark Davis?
I do remember that.
Hanging with Mark Davis, hanging with Kelsey, Mahomes, just all the boys.
Damon's big time. If you don't know, when Damon gets around celebrities, it's
Taylor and Will. You just the lads, just hanging out.
We were busting with the boys.
Booms. $199 just got the Maserati Marv T LFG super hype. Booms. Let's go. I just made a purchase. I bought all 4 new t-shirts from the merchandise locker just now, and I feel great about it.
What was the 4th?
The Phoenix Cardinal T-shirt. I've been waiting to pull the trigger on that because I knew this collection was going to drop. I'm just going to get them all together.
Mm-hmm.
We wear so much merchandise though that sometimes I have to buy multiple to because they get this is my second version of this because this is the only thing I wear.
You pit them out because you're in the lab midday wearing them.
You joke. They are comfortable. Sleep in them, work out in them, wear them out. This is not, there's some stuff that it's like 100% certain material that shrinks. I mean, these are phenomenal T-shirts.
Yeah.
They're the kind of T-shirts, if I was a fan, that I would go and pursue, objectively speaking.
I don't disagree.
Bite Size Gaming asks, are there new shirts? Wow, perfect time to plug. but when Damon, let's see him one more time. Let's get that collection full screen. The 18 collection.
It's sizzling. Look at that thing. The Maserati Marv, the MHJ, and the Cards math. Because we all know 1 + 18 = 6 in the end zone. Can't beat any one of these ones. You got to have them all. You got to collect them all. It's like Pokemon.
That's right. You're going to quote Pokemon, but you won't quote Star Wars on this show? How dare you?
That's as far as it goes. I'm tapped out as far as the Pokemons.
Oh, man. We got to wish Pick and Spreads a happy birthday. Hope you boys are doing well. $5 super chat. Turned 22 today. Try to catch the show when I can. I respect y'all having this many shows during this time of the NFL. LMAO. Well, we love it. We love it because we got this community.
It's the gig. If we weren't getting paid for it, we'd probably still be doing it. We're sickos. We love talking ball and talking to team and talking to informed people like yourself. Pick and Spreads. I defer to Pick and Spreads for all my draft insight leading up to it. So he's based, I believe, out of the great state of Iowa. And I think told us he got a great internship just before
congratulations.
last season. So hopefully continues his trending in the right direction as far as making his way onto a coaching staff somewhere.
Absolutely. Hey, I want to ask everybody a question because it's new T-shirt release day. It's a special day for this podcast. Mm-hmm. I was talking to Coach Starks of Coach Stark Homes earlier today, and he said, "What's the new T-shirt it's going to look like?" I'm just like, "You just gonna have to wait for the show." He goes, "Is it a Hold the Line T-shirt?" And I said, "No." And I gotta take a pulse of the room because I know what Damon thinks. If we were to design a Hold the line held kind of T-shirt, is that something you guys would vibe with? I feel like that's been a pretty popular request, Bo, since we started teasing T-shirts.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the Hold the Line is you got to do past tense, right? Because the line was held. Line held?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, like, I'd love to design a T-shirt with the chat. Like, you guys collectively pick the verbiage on it. We will make it happen.
Maybe like a Brawny Venerable one?
No one wants that. No one wants that.
What about a Blow Brack?
I think like the Hold the Line community was so vital to this offseason, as much as that pains me to say it, because it gives producer Damon all the credit there, and he'd probably get a cut of the T-shirt sale.
Yeah. I guess I'm sorry. There's no Blow Brack. There was the great suggestion of my mere selfie, which would be the doucher tee that would be in the PHNX locker.
Just the Zach Wilson T-shirt. That's what we call it. Hold the line, line held. Yeah, we'll workshop it. We got another super chat here. Very, very generous. Ghost of Pat Tilley, $20. Thank you so much, Ghost of Pat Tilley, for your support on that level, my friend. Just recently received my K1, what is that? RURS? Maybe like a jersey? K1 shoe? Something Kyler Murray related, maybe. And just ordered Math and Maserati. What made Bidwell finally go outside the org for a GM on the A+. Well, while Bo's looking that up, what I'm to understand, Ghost of Pat Tilley, was that when that's
talking the Red Sea Rise Up.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Thank you, Ghost of Pat Tilley, for the support on that level. So we know this unequivocally, that in the season of 2022, Steve Keim was not around the organization, and he had taken a leave of absence, and he was getting healthy, but he had no future with the organization. Okay, so in November of that year, Michael Bidwell started to pursue options for a new general manager. And it was always assumed that Quentin Harris and Adrian Wilson were going to be in contention. And they were the GMs in the interim. They were the interim GMs, co-interim GMs. So a lot of us came to the conclusion like, well, they promoted Rod Graves. They promoted Steve Keim from within. They've always gone inside. He's going to go inside. I will give Bidwell immense credit that he said, my process is broken. Our culture is broken. And this is not an indictment on Quentin Harris or Adrian Wilson. He was just like, I just need to go pick the brains of other people who are doing this right. And he got insight from other organizations and they said, hey, here's some good people you need to interview. So like I think they interviewed like 3 or 4 candidates outside of their own. And I think he made it a clear precedent. First of all, and I'll give him credit, he tried to hire a minority candidate. They came out and said that. He has been part of those minority executive groups to getting African-American people of color executive roles, GM roles, scouts, and he offered Ian Cunningham the GM job. And Ian Cunningham with the Bears said, no, thank you. So then he hired Monty Austin for it. So he went external. So with respect to Quentin Harris and Adrian Wilson, they were both allowed to stay if they wanted to. A-Dub went to Carolina. Quentin stayed for a year and has since left the organization. So I think Michael just said, our process is broken. We need new people in here. And most well-run businesses do that. Say, I got to get external eyes on this because Quentin Harris and Adrian Wilson are going to point and say, oh, yeah, we love this guy. We love Cameron Thomas. We love Isaiah Simmons. They were our draft picks. And Michael's credit, he knew that they needed an external option.
Yeah, and this might be an unpopular take as well. Like when they brought in Sean Payton for whatever that was, and they just had a discussion, for hours within the facility in Tempe. I think that there probably was talks as far as Bidwell and Monty Osfort getting eyes from a successful coach, Sean Payton. Now, I mean, albeit you look at Denver right now and the facility's on fire, and it's not going in the right direction. But as far as, just getting, as you said, getting external eyes on this thing and outside the organization ideas, after they just, I think they were about a month out from their first just completely brutally failing grade team report card. It was important to start those combos about what they needed to upgrade. It goes outside the football operations personnel. Like they were severely behind the times, and it was all due to a lack of vision from the decision makers that had been in place for the last decade.
The stuff that you hear about the people that they used to employ, I mean, it's shocking to me that they were even able to have the marginal success that they had. And again, I think that's a testament to Kyler Murray, because Kyler Murray was able to see it through. He's part of this new regime. They've embraced him. I mean, it's like, go look back on that 2021 season. It's a K1 season, for better or worse. We're excited about everything going on here at PHNX Sports. Again, check out the merchandise locker, but also check out our friends, Bo, at BetMGM. BetMGM first bet offer, $1,500 in bonus bets. How about that? Well, you can also dabble with the Grand Slam Jackpot promotion every single Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So now is the time. Whom do you like to hit a home run this weekend in Major League Baseball, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday? And if that player that you pick, place in a mere $10 wager, that player hits a grand slam, you're going to win $50K in daily prizes or share the prize with the other winning bettors. So Aaron Judge, maybe a little bit of Nolan Arenado. He finally hit a dinger the other day. Again, it's up to you, but you got to dabble with BetMGM and you got to use the bonus code PHNX. And if you're saying to yourself, Johnny, I want to gamble tonight. I don't want to wait till Friday.
I want to gamble tonight.
Why not?
I gambled tonight with our friends at BetMGM on the Caitlin Clark points. And
that's hot.
She is slated to have 0 at half right now.
Oh, no.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Shut out?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't there over under 21.5?
Something like that. Yeah. 21.5, 20.5, depending on what book you got it at.
Are they just the opposing team just like triple teaming her?
Just clamps? I see 18 points by our squad right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have 19 as a squad with 7 minutes left.
Okay.
But
that's not good.
Caitlin 0 for 4.
Okay, well, maybe you took the Caitlin Clark under, and in which case you'd be set up to win some money. If you took the over with BetMGM and you dabble a little bit of a $10 wager with PHNX Sports as your bonus code, guess what? You're not out completely because you get those bonus bets back, up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your bet loses. So feel free to bet on Caitlin Clark all you want with your first bet, and it's gonna pay out regardless with our friends at BetMGM. But you got to sign up.
Over?
What's that?
Is Caitlin Clark's career over?
It's done.
Stop. I'm trying to get through this ad read. I did see like the funniest meme where like Caitlin Clark's on this private jet with her teammates, and she's just like sitting there like nonchalant, and her teammates are just partying. And then there's like a quote tweets like Caitlin Clark got all these people flying like private. She's doing the Lord's work. Yeah. Good on her. Good on you if you dabble with our friends at BetMGM. Check out the show notes for full details. Now listen to my guy Shane Diefenbach talk about it in the disclaimer.
Bonus bets expire in 7 days. One new customer offer only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY, 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, North Carolina, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
When you cash at BetMGM, maybe kind of parlay that into some good eats with our friends over at ButcherBox. We love ButcherBox. Check them out right now. Not only is it delicious, not only are you getting premium cuts that you don't have to really ask any questions about because it's coming from a really rock solid, gives you peace of mind spot, high quality meat, seafood, 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, pork raised, crate-free, and wild-caught seafood, humanely raised, no antibiotics, no added hormones. You don't have to think twice, and it's delivered straight to your doorstep with free delivery. It's tough to beat that. So many trips to the grocery store, getting kind of iffy cuts on some really questionable meat at the counter there. You don't want that. You want those free shipping. You want that curated, customized box plans that they have. An exclusive deal for our listeners right now. Use the link butcherbox.com/PHNX, and you're going to get free meat plus $20 off your first box by going to butcherbox.com/PHNX and using the code PHNX at checkout.
Another tremendous super chat here, this time from CJM. Thank you so much. $5. Just got the black MHJ jersey for free. How about that? I saved my free shirt code and waited. We told you, just sometimes good things come to those who wait. And if you became a diehard yesterday and you waited, you held the line for your boys. Not that there's not great merchandise available, but the elite, the premium collection, the 18 collection is here to service all of you.
Speaking of elite, that profile pic, is that after the pick was in draft night? Is that when you found out they were at CJM that they were selecting MHJ?
I heard that's him yelling at the TV when they traded up for Josh Rosen.
I think this is Charles Cardinal. We've interacted.
Oh, we love Charles.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So just a little bit of a
name change there.
Swapping of the name. I like it. It's an upgrade.
Well, it's just like MHJ, CJM.
Mm-hmm.
I think I should go with three digits. Does anybody know my middle name? It's Wilbur. So we could go J-Dub-V.
That's awesome.
J-Dub-V.
Wilbur
like
Wildcat,
MHJ.
the greatest
it
mascot.
Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? J-Dub-V. What's your middle name, Bo?
I will never let any of you know.
I know Bo's middle name.
Yeah. It's because he stole my wallet.
I did. I stole Bo's wallet one time. Know his full name. It's good.
Oh man, love it so much.
It's Bo Blow Brack.
All right, Bo, tell us about what the rookies had to say today.
All right, so we caught up with Isaiah Adams, also Jaden Davis, and then Xavier Thomas, who kind of a soft-spoken, big pass rusher. He said actually one of the things people didn't know about him is that he's a nice guy. He's tatted up. He's a big, imposing dude out of Clemson, and he's a guy that's got a pretty humbling story. Top recruit coming out of high school. He joined that 2018 Clemson team that was absolutely loaded, and then went into 2020. This was a guy going into the COVID season that was trending towards being a first-round pick, and then went up over 300 pounds and had to shed about 50 pounds between now and then, and has gotten himself back into be a pro prospect. And Monty Ossenfort viewed the guy who kind of was a pressure machine at Clemson, didn't necessarily rack up the TFLs or the sack numbers, but could be an interesting guy to kind of keep tabs on in a very crowded pass rush room outside linebackers. But didn't get too much from him, but a very interesting story. And then Jaden Davis, we heard from Jaden Davis, kind of a versatile defensive back out of the U. He was the 226th pick, which was the same selection as Pat Tillman way back when. And Jaden Davis kind of gave us some insight that he immediately reached out to the Tillman Foundation, absolutely embracing that that kind of honor to be the Tillman pick, but also Davis, a guy that's going to be vying to make a roster. I asked him, what position does he think he's going to play in the secondary? And Damon, this was Jaden Davis's answer as far as where he'll play.
I mean, I love it. Wherever they want me to play, I'm going to play, whether that be corner, nickel, free safety, strong safety, anything. Like, I'm open to play anything, and I feel like I can play anything in this position because the way they set it up, you're able to play fast, you're able to play physical, and that's what I like to do. So I feel like this system is great for me. It fits me and my play style, so I'm just happy to be here.
I've heard that from all the DBs that they selected this year, from Rabbit, Taylor Demerson to Elijah Jones and Max Melton. Similar, I guess, takeaways from Jaden Davis, who didn't have a pick in his collegiate career, where he played at Oklahoma and Miami, but he was a guy that kind of put his helmet on the football and forced a couple fumbles. But it's going to be it's a crowded room now in the defensive secondary. It's going to be big for him to try to carve out a role for him on teams and as a kind of a backup for this for the main stars here, guys that were drafted a lot higher than him last 2 years.
Yeah, I think they just really like the depth of this cornerback group in the draft as opposed to the front seven. Like, Austin Ford made a point, I think, at his final presser post-draft to say, hey, we didn't anticipate drafting this many DBs, but the board just fell that way. And they were not in a position, Bo, after what they fielded at the position group last year, just to say, you know what, we're good with what we have. And that's no disrespect to Starling Thomas or Keitrell Clark, but I think you trust, again, I say this every show, I feel like the reputation of Jonathan Gannon is defensive savant, defensive back savant. And so if he's signing off on these prospects and they fit what he wants to do, you can't have enough of them at the end of the day. Think about how many, go back and watch that Super Bowl run for Philadelphia, the elite defensive unit. Like, those DBs weren't first round picks. I mean, it was a kind of a hodgepodge of day 2, day 3 undrafted guys that JG molded. Like, I think, is it realistic to find starting offensive tackles in round 7? Probably not. Same thing with edge rushers, same thing with quarterbacks not named, Brock Purdy. But what I will say is, like, cornerbacks can be found all over the place. Wide receivers, running backs, there are certain position groups where, listen, a corner can come in and participate and help this team and only play 30% of the time, 40% of the time. You made a point. Make special teams much better. So I would rather use late round picks on certain position groups like this anyway, from big time schools. Like, that's not a throwaway program in the ACC. So I'm excited to watch these guys. I think the competition level on this roster has never been higher, certainly in the last couple of years. And now you've got 12 picks coming on this roster. Like, as much as everybody and myself thought Monty's going to move up, he's going to move down. No, he used all 12 picks. He added multiple picks throughout the course of the draft purposely because he felt like this draft was deep and his roster was underserved. So I think anybody who's saying like, oh yeah, it's going to be tough for X, Y, and Z to make the team, on the surface maybe, but then you got to think about, go look at the free agent market for this team next year and all the guys that they're going to lose that were Keim guys. I think there's a good chance most of these draft picks make the team.
Yeah. I mean, I think 12 of 12 is tough, especially when you've got 3 guys, 5 if you consider the 2 guys last year who got, considerable amount of snaps, and Starling Thomas and Keitrell Clark in the defensive secondary. And of course, you've got the 2 stars there in Jalen Thompson and Budda Baker. But like you see that Jaden fits in exactly with the caliber of person that this organization likes to bring in. I think Jaden Davis, if he can't crack this roster, he's going to have an opportunity to go crack a roster elsewhere. And then the most impressive guy I think we talked to, and we kind of, I got a glimpse of Isaiah Adams, the 3rd round pick at Illinois, speaking on the Ross Tucker podcast last year. And he's from Ottawa, same place as Jesse Luketa in Canada. And it was a hockey player originally. And then the big hog molly transitioned to football late in his, high school career, ended up going to a community college at Garden City, and then made his way to Illinois, where, we talked to his offensive play caller and Coach Lunny from the Illini, and said how selfless he was, where he was more geared to play inside, but played outside at tackle to help fill a need for Illinois last season, even though it probably didn't help his draft status. But this is a guy that's ready to come in and compete right away. Like, he said on Ross Tucker's podcast that he was told he was going to compete for a spot. You can kind of just figure out where they're going to have him compete for a spot, that left guard position. And man, is he? I think he's got a real shot at it, Johnny. When you look at it, like sure they flooded it with a bunch of names, but who's going to emerge there? I think Isaiah Adams certainly has that spot. And then I mentioned he's from Canada. Canada, of course, they get the reputation for being disgustingly nice. But Isaiah Adams, he says that only goes so far. This was his answer as far as does he fit that rep with Canadians.
Yeah, that is a nice stereotype. I respect it. Off the field, I'm really polite, kind of laid back, but on the field, it's time to, pardon my language, but it's time to kill people. And that's the mission, that's the job, that's required, and it's just flip the switch mentality, and that's what I love to do.
Listen, I'm glad I don't have to be killed by him on NFL Sundays. Let me ask you this. So his biggest competition, probably Evan Brown from Seattle coming over. Evan's got positional versatility, can play all three interior positions. Maybe the plan is for him to be a swing interior lineman and not necessarily start. What's it going to take, in your opinion, for Isaiah Adams to start at left guard opening Sunday? Because while I think it's an uphill battle for a third rounder out of Illinois to start right away, he's either going to be playing next to Jonah Williams or Paris Johnson Jr., two veterans at this point. Mm-hmm. Jonah especially. Yelda Froholt's been in this league a long time. Like if you saw enough during camp from him that he's only going to get better, but he needs to play to get better, maybe you put him out there. Because again, we know what Elijah Wilkinson is. We know what Evan Brown is. Maybe John Gaines, although I think he's got a leg up on Gaines. That does Adams. Like, I don't think this is the worst spot to start a rookie. What do you think he has to show 2 months from now during training camp?
Consistency, right? And I think as far as pass pro, where the other guys struggled, that's where Adams is going to have to maybe show that he can be a difference maker, right? I think all the people that they played at guard last year, from Elijah Wilkinson to Tristan Colon, were there was significant struggles there. And I think we know Isaiah Adams can be really rock solid in the run game, but how is he as far as pass protection? And, can he be, if he's kind of even with these guys in Evan Brown, I think that they would err on the side of running with the younger guy just to get him to kind of get that playing time and start to develop as early as possible.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think if you flip a coin, because like Michael Wilson and Zach Pascal are probably pretty close during camp last year, although Wilson had more big plays. Like, can he have that kind of training camp up front? It's hard on the offensive line, but if we're to believe what his position coach and guys like, the folks out of the Shrine Bowl, the Senior Bowl, Jim Nagy have to say, it's like, this is somebody that, had he been allowed to play his natural position, and he put the team ahead of himself, if he plays all year at guard for the Illini and the rest of the team's on fire, they've got issues at quarterback, but he just goes out there and puts together 13 great games at guard, is he a top 50 pick? Like, based on what they're saying, probably. Yeah. If everything breaks right. If he's got tape against, I don't know who Illinois played this year. Let's just say hypothetically Ohio State, Michigan, Iowa, whomever, and he's pushing around front seven players for opposing teams that are getting drafted high, that are future first rounders. He looks great. Suddenly, yeah, he's probably going to be in that sweet spot of about 40 to 60 instead of where he got drafted. So I could see him coming out and surprising people. Here's what he's not. I don't think he's raw. I think this is somebody that's 23, almost 24 years old, not a finished product, but somebody that like is going to be physically ready for the rigors of the NFL. Like, we asked his position coach, his offensive line coach, about he and Tip Raymond. Go check out our interviews if you haven't already. Like, he's pretty candid. Was their position coach that like, no, these guys, like, mentally there's a learning curve. Physically, they should be able to compete. Like, we know Tip's all about his physical prowess, his presence, his athletic score, 6'5", 270. Isaiah Adams, you'll be able to testify to this, Bo. Like, is he a small man?
No, he's not. He's certainly not. When you look at the offensive line, I mean, he's even going to kind of stand out in that room as well. When you've got, Evan Brown, 6'3", 320, and then you got the young man coming in from Illinois, he's right there with him as far as the size at 6'4". 316, and he's got, nimble feet from his hockey playing days. And look, we kind of were robbed of seeing how they were going to deal with maybe like not a first round pick like Paris Johnson, like at 6 overall, you insert him right into the starting lineup in place of the veteran Kelvin Beachum, who's going to vie for the swing tackle role that he played last year. But like Jonathan Gaines going down to that knee injury, like it would have been really fascinating to see how they would have handled his playing time last year if he'd stayed healthy.
You bring up a really interesting point. And again, if you were not watching our show last year, shame on you. We did a podcast every day saying you should just probably play Paris at left or at right tackle. And we got it sourced. Paris is going to stay at right tackle. And everybody in this market said they're playing Paris at guard. They have Kelvin Beachum. That's in the best interest of the team. Play your best 5. And it's just like, are they going to do that again? Like, even though they Brown, even though they signed Kelvin Beachum, are they just going to play a rookie because they like the rookies? I think that's a really good, interesting point. Like Kelvin Beachum and Evan Brown, not comparable, but you can see some similarities of depth piece, depth guy, started games, foxhole guy, great in the locker room. We're going to go with the young player. We're going to see what we have, the maturation process. How fast can you pick it up? Now, Paris, very special circumstance where clearly now one of the top 5 to 7 best players on the team, Pro Bowl potential. Like that's asking a lot of us, third rounder out of Illinois. But I mean, John Gaines would have played at guard last year had he been healthy, like unless he's just an unmitigated disaster. So
right. Isaiah
Adams is going to start at some point this year. Will it be in August or will it be in October, November? Time will tell. But I like that pick. Like, again, outside of the tip pick, which I need to be courted on, the rest of these picks, the top 100, top 105, make a lot of sense of what this team wants to do. And it's exciting to see all the pieces come together. And these are not the flashy guys that you spoke with today, Bo, but like you're going to want these guys around and contributing if the Cardinals are going to try to make a playoff push.
Yeah. I mean, there is the consistency just feel from all these guys that they love football. Every single guy that they brought in is a student in the game, loves to go out there, loves the process, loves getting better on a daily basis. Sure, like I'm sure they love to go out there on game day, but they love the ability to make their profession as a football player. They all like what, Brian Hartladen said, like it wasn't just a job for Marvin Harrison Jr. It's an obsession. Like he lives it. And, and you get the sense out of all those guys from the free agents that they signed this year, from a Sean Murphy Bunting to a Justin Jones, Bilal Nichols, to Marvin Harrison Jr., Darius Robinson, Max Melton, Isaiah Adams. Like they all, like there's a common theme there. And it wasn't the same, say 3-4 years ago with the caliber of player that they were bringing in through the draft or free agency.
Let's check out some more super chats. Then we're going to talk schedule predictions and what we're hearing right now with regard to the schedule release tomorrow. Charles back in the chat, $5. Yes, it's Charles, Cardinal Charles. And yeah, the pick is from my MHJ reaction. So you called it. Hey, how about this? My first 8K vid. I'm assuming that's on YouTube. Nice. Congratulations, Charles. Also, Johnny, stay as JV, please. I will stay at JV. Although my late grandfather, who was my best friend growing up, was named Will. So I'm named after my 2 grandpas, John and Wilbur. So appreciate you, Charles. Mike is in the chat, super chat, $19.99. Mike. We appreciate that support on that level. Bo, what do you think we will play if Cards get an international game? Well, I can tell you unequivocally they're not getting a Germany game. So it would have to be, Bo, a London game. But it's not looking like
wouldn't the option really only be the Vikings at this point?
Yeah, and there's word that the Vikings. Who have you heard the Vikings are going to play?
I can't even remember who the heck the Vikings were slated to play.
It sounds like it might be the Jets in London.
Okay.
The Jets in London, or I've seen the Texans thrown out there. I have not seen the Cardinals. That international league that the Cardinals were going to get a game was about from a month ago. And we had been hearing that if it had a good chance to be Germany. And then we've got a pretty well sourced today, like it's not Germany.
Yeah, got Brian Burns. Isn't Brian Burns putting that on social media?
He also did that, yeah.
Yeah, so the Giants, yeah, I'm looking at one of the pretty consistent leak Twitter accounts.
What's it called?
It is called NFL schedule update, nerding on NFL. And
Okay.
they got 20,000 followers. They do this every year. They got their little spreadsheet here. They've already got Carolina and the Giants playing in that Germany game, but we'll see what happens with the Vikings potentially in London. Just doesn't feel like the Cardinals are slate. We'll find out 4:00 local time in the morning tomorrow on Good Morning Football when Kyle Brandt and them unveil it. But it just doesn't feel like it's trending towards that.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you guys should trend, even if we don't get an international game. I mean, if you're trying to do some travel, if you're not going international, but national, maybe on a road trip, how about checking out our friends at Circle K? Become a member of the Inner Circle today at America's Thirst Stop. It's the free new membership program, and it's going to hook you up. You're going to save on gas every single time you're a member of the Inner Circle. Save 25 cents per gallon in your first 5 fill-ups. Save 3 cents per gallon every single day. And again, if you're in Arizona specifically, thirst has met its match. Right now with the Inner Circle, you can get any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 69 cents all summer long. June, July, August through September 3rd. Again, got to be a member of the Inner Circle, 69 cents. Any size you want, load up, get caffeinated, get hydrated. Use our friends at Circle K, the Inner Circle dash offers. Join the Inner Circle today. It's for free. Again, you download the app, you get free stuff. I don't know what more I need to say. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Bo, visit circlek.com for more details.
Absolutely. Get yourself a 69-cent Polar Pop drink at Circle K, and then get yourself soft, bouncy, delicious cannabis gummies from our friends over at OG's. Oh, we love OG's. It's tough to beat. What's going on? #1 cannabis gummy kitchen in town. We love our partnership with OG's. Yeah, you got to check them out right now. ogsbrands.com. You like the sleep edition? Sleep edition is going to help you get to sleep, stay asleep. You're just up all night thinking about Marvin Harrison Jr. touchdown catches. Well, you need to get at least your 8 hours, right? Let's get some nice rest. OG's is going to help you do that. Or if you're just looking for maybe another just cannabis gummy experience where you can get the fruits, the creams, maybe a mix of both, the happy balance. They've got something for everyone. You had a bad experience in the past. It wasn't with OG's. They're not going to mess around. They're not going to set you up for failure. Check out OG's now. I promise you're not going to go wrong. OG's Brands on socials as well, at OG's Brands. And then, of course, ogsbrands.com. Find them in your local dispensary. Got to be 21 years or older, of course.
All right, so we're fired up. The schedule release comes out tomorrow. We will share any insight we have over the course of the next 24 hours. And then, of course, it's going to be confirmed while we're on the show. Any cracks in the foundation, we'll let you guys know. But right now, looks like the Arizona Cardinals not heading to Germany. Doesn't look like they're heading to London either. Looks like they're staying within the continental United States. So then the conversation becomes, Bo, how many nationally televised games? I will put the over-under still at 1.5. I think they get at least one. Do they get 2? Where are those 2 games located on the schedule? I'll go on the record. I think they get a Thursday night and a Sunday night. A Monday night. I don't think the NBC and the Cardinals do not mix for whatever reason. I think they get a Monday night game, maybe a part of a Monday night doubleheader, and a Thursday night game on Amazon Prime. They were shut out last year. I just think no way does Michael Bidwell, who hosts Super Bowls, who's buddies with Roger Goodell, with the mojo the Cardinals have. Last year, you're rebuilding, you get bad vibes, that's fine. No Kyler Murray this year. Michael Bidwell is going to make a stank to the league. Like, put us on national TV. Get us a couple of times to show off the stadium. I think they get 2 nationally televised games this year. What say you? You
don't think they get maybe like a down the line late in the season Sunday night game that they could just flex them straight out of if they stink?
I mean, but I'm talking about see, like, I want, like, you're gifted a nationally televised game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, I think that this 2 is the ballpark. Like, coming off of being bad for back-to-back seasons and really being put in timeout last year after the previous season.
That's really what it was. That's the perfect way to go.
Every time they were on primetime that previous year in 2022 when they bottomed out was it was an international incident. Mexico City. The other one stunk because it was Kyler's knee injury. And of course you had, you didn't know at the time it was JJ Watt's final home game with the Cardinals before retiring, but it was Tom Brady leading the charge back past Trace McSorley. They had Trace McSorley start a football game at the quarterback position, which is crazy. So yeah, they're making their way back in the good graces of the NFL, and hosting a successful Super Bowl certainly helped. So yeah, going over, like, if you're gonna give me the hook, like over under 2.5, I'll probably take the under and keep it right at 2.
Jalen Blair saying they're not putting the Cards on Sunday Night Football voluntarily. Correct. That's Bears, Packers,
I'm just
everybody
talking
in
like
the
a
NFC
token, like,
East.
hey, like, in December we got you slated for Sunday night. Get excited, and then if things go south, say, oh, well, we're just gonna flex you out for a battle of the AFC South that we'd prefer to watch.
But here's what I also say, and like people are like, they're gonna get flexed. Good, they have to earn that. I don't want them to they haven't earned a ton of nationally televised games yet. I mean, we had Mina Kimes on the show last Friday, and she's like, I watch the Cardinals. You guys watch the Cardinals. A lot of people nationally, their bad takes stem from not watching the Cardinals last year. So it's like, well, how do you get people to watch your team? You have to win games. Mm-hmm. Like, as bad as their publicity has been, it's been their own doing. Michael and Kime and Cliff and Vance Joseph, and they all had a hand in this. And so you spent the last 18 months cleaning it up. And now this is you certainly, we don't want them to be coronated before they win anything. But I do think that Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. are box office enough where people are going to be like, yeah, I'm going to watch that Thursday night game. I'm going to watch that Monday night game. Yeah, and you're playing in a division. You're playing in the Chicagos of the world. There are games to be had. Are they going to put the Cardinals, Panthers on national TV? Probably not. But there are games where people would be excited. They are a good watch. They were a good watch. Hell, last year with Joshua Dobbs at times.
It's usually the scales are tipped, and it's usually the earlier slate where you've got more games, and then the Cardinals could become that trendy Sunday afternoon team that people fall in love with, right? And you see them, it's like, oh, this Carolina Panthers Cardinals matchup that you would have thought was a throwaway before the start of the season. Now it's must see. I want to see Marvin Harrison Jr. go up against J.C. Horn. I want to see Kyler Murray and this team and this offense. And if the defense is a little bit better, which we're hoping for, and the offense is continuing to go the right direction, there could be a lot of points from both teams in every single one of their games, and that's exciting. That's a fun team to watch. It's frustrating, but it's also seeing a shootout. Everybody can get on board with that.
Damon, do you have the NFL schedule update tweet as it relates to a potential Week 1 opponent for the Arizona Cardinals? Because here it is, Bo.
Yeah, great note here that the Week 2 Thursday Night Football road team always plays at home the prior week. So the Bills would be at home Week 1 because it's already come out that the Buffalo Bills are going to be playing against the Miami Dolphins Week 2 on Thursday Night Football. And they were able to kind of narrow down 4 of their potential Week 1 opponents in Orchard Park. It'd be the Pats, the Jags, the Titans, and the Cards.
Well, here's why this makes sense. A lot of people are running with the notion Cardinals could open up on the road Week 1 against Buffalo Bills. Also take into account, based on other information, Seattle, the Niners, and the Rams have different opponents than the Cardinals Week 1. Mm-hmm. So they're not. It doesn't seem like they're opening up with a divisional opponent. So kind of going through process elimination here.
You can take the Jets out of that. Jets have already had a leaked game for Week 1. As you mentioned, the Niners and Seahawks, they've also had leaks as far as who they could be.
The Packers aren't available. They're at Philadelphia.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the league schedules here. I mean, what would you feel about Buffalo Week 1? I wouldn't hate it. Bills play sometimes shitty football in September. I would be pro Buffalo Week 1.
Going to Buffalo in September is a win in itself.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to Buffalo any other month. Like October, it starts to get cold. End of September, it starts to get cold. For the team traveling from Arizona, that is an immediate dub, just in itself. And then you start to look at, they just signed
Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah, Valdez-Scantling to that elite wide receiver room that we were talking about the other day.
Well, it's I liked Keon Coleman more than you and Damon did during draft season. But here's what I will say. if they're going to develop a rapport, it's not going to be ready week 1. I think there's a chance that this receiving core, which a lot of people are scoffing at, it's not very good. It's not going to be a finished product week 1. That's the perfect time to play the Buffalo Bills. Like the Bills could be playing. Like, when did the Bills play their best football at the end of the season last year, Damon? Our closeted Miami Dolphins fan will be able to tell us that.
Yeah, definitely towards the end of the season down the stretch when the division was on the line, for sure.
Yeah. Buffalo is historically a slow starter. They have young players. I don't think their coach is great.
They play a lot better when it's cold too. I think that, like, I mean, I know we mentioned it already, but when teams have to travel to Buffalo to play in a blizzard, it's an extremely tough place to play.
You got Sean McDermott. His seat couldn't be any hotter. He's probably going to start rallying the troops using some sort of like terrorist analogies like he's been known to do in the past. It's, if you're going to take him on, you're going to take, and look, they're going to want some sort of revenge for the Hail Mary, and Kyler's going to come in with that notch on his belt.
I'm already calling it right now. Cardinals play Buffalo on the road week 1. They take Cards money line with our friends at BetMGM. I'm ready.
I'm all over it, Johnny.
I'm ready to announce it right now. The line's not even available because no one knows if that's the game. If that's announced tomorrow, that line will be about plus 300. Hammer it right now. Cardinals are winning week 1.
We're sending in our slips tomorrow on the show. We're posting them.
I will. I'll do that.
There was 2 returning captains of 10 from Buffalo. There's so much turnover.
Week 1.
The roster isn't good.
Yeah.
Can we just be real? They don't have a lot of good players.
Like who are their stars outside of Josh Allen and James Cook?
We've gone full off the rails. I'm pulling up Buffalo's depth chart right here.
They're Josh Allen next year. It's not too crazy.
Okay. James Cook, who's fine.
Yeah.
Here are their starting receivers: Khalil Shakur, Keon Coleman, Chase Claypool, Marquise Valdez-Scandrine. That's the receiving core. Oh, and Curtis Claypool? Samuel, who's about 100.
Chase Claypool, the vending machine. Is that what they said he looked like in wearing a Dolphins uniform? That he was a vending machine.
He was so bad.
He doesn't block. He doesn't do anything to help the team.
Dalton Kincaid could.
Yeah, Dalton.
Yeah, they have good tight ends. Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid. They have good tight ends.
Dalton Kincaid could ascend. Deion Dawkins is a pretty good left tackle. Spencer Brown's a pretty good right tackle.
Laylo Collins. I mean,
they got rid of both safeties, right? Poyer and Micah Hyde are both gone.
They're both gone. Yeah, I like Matt Milano
and Mike Edwards.
And Tre'Davious White's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people hate on the Cardinal defense. I get that. The Buffalo Bills defense. Like, I don't know a lot of these players.
They still have DeMar. That's
Rasul Douglas is on the team. Von Miller's a starting defensive end for their team, and I would love to put him on the perimeter against
don't say
anybody for the Cardinals. They have Ed Oliver still. I mean, that's it. That's a game to be had. That's who you want week 1. I'm rooting for it now. Come on, schedule makers. Give me Buffalo at the early slate. Wake up that first morning, watch Kyler Murray.
Lovely 78 degrees.
That's a Titans
September.
Game circa 4 years ago where Kyler Murray goes off.
I think the Cardinals win that game.
Easily they do. Put it down. Money line with BetMGM. Do it.
Savages and the Bills Mafia slamming each other through tables, thinking it's an easy dub, and then they realize, oh shit, this team came to play.
Who's covering Marv for them? Christian Benford? Rasul Douglas covering Marv?
I think Rasul Douglas is their best corner.
That's scary. I'd be scared. And he had 5 picks last year. He's a nice player. He's not covering Marv though. Marv hasn't played it down in the NFL. I haven't seen him in full pads in the
Michael
NFL.
Wilson, Trey McBride. Ever heard of those guys?
I'm hopeful now. I'm going to be disappointed if that's not the matchup. Week 1 at Buffalo. You talk about under the radar where people are going to say,
well, who else? What other teams are you giving a shot for opening with the Cardinals? I mean,
if I've got their here, let me pull up their schedule here. Do we have their opponents, Damon? We could put on the screen. We probably have an old graphic of that.
Cardinals opponents?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll grab something.
Okay,
I mean, I've got some of them here. I mean, if it's on the road, you've got, Vikings, Dolphins, Bills, Panthers, Rams. Because we already have the Niners, Seahawks out. Did we say we got the Packers are out of this too?
Packers are opening with Philadelphia on the road.
Philly loses that game.
Well, we hope we root against Philadelphia on this podcast.
We'll paint our bodies green and yellow for that.
I don't know. Big Dom's back on the sideline.
Yeah, that's huge for them. They're a different team.
Don't forget about the big
guard.
Dom bump.
All right, so Minnesota's an option week 1, Miami's an option week 1, Carolina's an option, and Buffalo's an option.
Miami week 1 is a hot game, hot, humid, nasty.
That's tough.
I don't want that.
But it's this. So Miami would have to host back-to-back games for that to happen, because they're hosting Buffalo the next season, the next week. Yeah.
So we're eliminating all divisional opponents. Cards opened up on the road last year.
Well, I'm sorry, we've got Detroit. You got the Rams opening up at Detroit, so you can take them off.
Right.
You can also take the Lions out, like at home. I don't know if that was ever an option.
Ryan saying after we beat Buffalo, ESPN will have us 33rd in the power rankings. That's right. Relegated to the XFL or whatever that league's called now. Buffalo Bills week 1. Let's do it. Road trip it to the East Coast.
I'm just looking at that right now. I mean, I've eliminated the Lions, the Jets, the Rams, the Niners, the Seahawks, the Packers from contention for week 1.
Who does that leave? You've eliminated the entire NFC West.
If you're going to be home, you'd have to be. There's Bears, Pats, Commanders, Chargers. You want the Cliff Kingsbury revenge game?
I'd take any of those teams week 1. Any of those teams.
Those are all the top 5 teams, except Chicago is using Carolina's pick, or you got Vikings, Dolphins, Bills, Panthers.
I think the Bears are going to play a NFC North game week 1. I think the Bears are probably going to open up with the Packers, or not the Packers, with the
Vikings.
With the Vikings, yeah. Rookie versus rookie, McCarthy versus Caleb Williams. Doesn't that feel like that's probably the way they're going to go?
I get the juices going.
Yeah. While Damon gets that right, I'll tell you what else gets the juices going. How about this right here? Ever heard of it? The 18 collection, right now available at the PHNX merchandise locker. I have, at my discretion, multiple confirmed orders. Robert Taylor, Jesus, Charles, our guy, tons of people purchasing the new gear. Again, throw us a screen capture. We'll retweet it on Twitter. Let us know. If you pick up, a diehard membership, let us know about that too. A lot of people saying they saved their free t-shirt for a purchase today. Glad you waited. If you guys are on the fence about anything, hey, just go pick the t-shirt up. Easy peasy. Rep it in the Valley. I'm going to tell you right now, that MHJ shirt, we've never had a shirt go harder than that, ever.
Mm-mm. It might not last.
I hope so. I hope it doesn't last, but then it comes back in stock. Yeah. I would like for it to say sold out at some point and then eventually is restocked. I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be fun.
Somebody just accused us of trying to bankrupt people. See, those shirts are the reasons I stay away from jerseys, because they're so elite.
Topher saying, how refreshing to not have opponents' fans taking over the games here at State Farm Stadium. Well, we got a ways to go. Mm-hmm. But I think that some of the opposing fan bases that are coming to State Farm Stadium outside of the division, maybe it's not going to vibe like that. How many Chicago fans do you think live in Arizona?
Too many.
Good amount?
Yeah.
Yeah. Blowbrock saying he actually wears jerseys, Bo.
Right. Well, not all, like, everybody differs from their siblings. And me and my evil twin Blow, we just differ as far as if we like to sport a jersey or not.
All right. Any final thoughts, predictions ahead of the schedule release tomorrow, Bo Brock?
Yeah, I think no international game. And I think I'm getting on the Bills Mafia train. I think it's the week 1.
I think we can get fired up about that.
There was a rumor out there, and it was started by at Thigh Doctor, who said Bills Cardinals week 1. And I was like, well, I would take the Thigh Doctor's word over anybody's at this point.
That's right. Damon says we've got the 2024 opponents. Let's see them for our YouTube friends. Home, outside of the division, of course, Bears, Lions, Pats, Jets, Commanders, Chargers. Away, Packers, Vikings, Dolphins, Bills, Panthers.
I like that Chargers matchup too.
I do too.
That's fun.
Herbert, Harbaugh.
I mean, like I'm just going to be real with everybody. That's a playoff schedule. I'm looking at this and I know nothing outside of
there was strength of schedule released today by ESPN. The Cardinals have the 7th easiest schedule. And then we had Damon's guy, Warren Sharp, release. So,
How dare you?
Hey, you can't look at the it was Super Bowl radio's least valuable player, Warren Sharp.
LVP.
He said that you can't look at winning percentage from the previous season. Look at the Vegas win total predictions. And the Cardinals a little bit more middle of the road than on the easier side.
I actually agree with that.
Yeah. We can be fair and balanced.
A broken clock is right twice a day.
If you're of the mindset that the Chicago Bears are going to be better than people think, that's fine. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think the Vikings are going to be good, and I sure as hell don't think the Seattle Seahawks are going to be good. And I would say that to our friend Mina Kimes' face. I think the Seahawks are going to be pretty unwatchable at times this year. Geno Smith, come on, bro. I'm done with that. Joshua Dobbs almost beat Geno Smith last year on the road. Cardinals have to take care of business in the NFC West. You can't dick around like you did last year with a rebuilding roster. Like, yeah, you got to come away with 3 wins. If you do that in the NFC West, you're making the playoffs. Like, those are the biggest games of the year because the Cardinals are going to win some out of division games that they're not supposed to. They're going to lose some games that they're not supposed to. It's going to even out. The Cardinals played their best football out of division at the end of last year. They played above their talent level. The biggest question mark I think a lot of people have, can Kyler Murray and can Jonathan Gannon outplay and outcoach Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, Brock Purdy, and Kyle Shanahan one time to get a dub? Gotta have it. You want to go to the playoffs, you can't go 1-5 in the NFC West. You just can't.
It's a great point. Sign up and become a diehard today. Become a PHNX Sports diehard. Get that membership. Lock in one of these 3 amazing t-shirts, 4 that we've dropped since the NFL draft, including the Phoenix Cardinals Rising Tee. Look at this, the PHNX Cardinals Rising Tee. That bird, it goes unbelievably hard, undeniably.
Our
hard.
flag just goes hard.
It does.
It's top tier. Yeah, it might be number 1. It's definitely top 3 or 3 to 5.
I wish all the sports teams would incorporate it. Cards used to back in the day. Maybe if they wise up and they get a throwback, they'll slap it on there like good old times. But you could use this for your 1 free t-shirt for the year. You could use one of these 3 bad boys for one of your t-shirts of the year. The 1 + 18 = 6, the MHJ, the Maserati Marv, the 18 collection. You get exclusive access to the member Discord. Only way you do that, become a diehard. You can read all the great works of Craig Morgan, Gerald Bourguet, Jesse Freeman. Don't miss out on any of that. Become a diehard right now. Get that diehard level access, including that sweet membership card that you can flash. I think it gets you any club around town, actually. You just flash that bad boy.
You don't have to wait in line.
No, you just show it to the bouncer and he says, I'm going to break your neck if you don't get out of my face. But it might work. That's the word on the streets. But become a diehard today. Don't miss out. Like this video, Johnny. What are we doing? Hit this like. I don't
know. What are we doing?
Deserves it. Let's get up over 300 likes here on a Football Tuesday. Tomorrow, it's going down. We're going to be live at 4:30, half hour before the official schedule release. We'll have all your leaks and hopefully have the full slate before it actually is unveiled.
The Arizona Cardinals schedule release show here at PHNX Cardinals is where you want to be. We're breaking it down. We're going to give you any insight we have well beforehand, around the clock, and on demand here at PHNX Sports on YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Hit that notification bell so you're notified every single time we go live. For Damon, Dawg, award-winning producer, he's Brack. I'm Johnny Venerable. Love you all. We will see you mañana. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.